Cognitive neuroscience is an interdisciplinary field that aims to understand the neural mechanisms underlying human cognition and behavior. It integrates principles and methods from neuroscience, psychology, and other related disciplines to investigate how brain structures and processes give rise to mental functions such as perception, attention, memory, language, decision making, and emotion. Cognitive neuroscience employs various techniques including neuroimaging, electrophysiology, brain stimulation, and neuropsychological studies of brain damaged patients to study the relationship between brain activity and cognitive processes. Cognitive is an interdisciplinary field that aims to understand the neuromechanisms underlying human cognition and behavior. The following are some of the techniques and importance of cognitive neuroscience. Cognitive neuroscience provides insights into how specific brain regions and networks support different cognitive functions by correlating patterns of brain activity with behavioral performance in cognitive tasks. Researchers can identify brain behavior relationships and localize cognitive processes to specific neural circuits. This helps understand the neural basis of cognition and provides a deeper understanding of how the brain enables complex mental functions. Cognitive neuroscience research also provides empirical evidence for psychological theories and models by linking them to underlying neural mechanisms. For example, studies investigating working memory have identified neural substrates involved in maintaining and manipulating information, supporting theoretical frameworks proposed by cognitive psychologists. This convergence of psychological theories with neuroscientific evidence enhances the validity and explanatory power of cognitive models. Cognitive neuroscience also contributes to our understanding of neurological and psychiatric disorders by investigating how alterations in brain structure and function affect cognitive processes. By studying brain damaged patients and individuals with neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, stroke, or schizophrenia, researchers can identify neural correlates of cognitive deficits and develop targeted interventions for rehabilitation and treatment. Cognitive neuroscience research informs the development of interventions and therapies aimed at enhancing cognitive function or mitigating cognitive impairments. For example, neurofeedback techniques, which involve real time monitoring and modulation of brain activity, have been used to improve attention, memory, and emotional regulation in clinical population. By targeting specific neural circuits implicated in cognitive dysfunction, clinicians can tailor interventions to individual needs and optimize treatment outcomes. And lastly, on advancing brain-computer interfaces and neurotechnology, cognitive neuroscience drives innovation in brain-computer interfaces (BCIs) and neurotechnology applications. BCIs translate brain activity into control signals for external devices, enabling individuals to interact with computers, prosthetic devices, or assistive technologies using their thoughts. By understanding the neural basis of cognitive processes such as motor control, language production, or sensory perception, researchers can develop more effective BCIs and neuroprosthetics devices to restore lost function in individuals with neurological disabilities. Neuroimaging refers to techniques that visualize and map brain structure, function, and connectivity non-invasively. Neuroimaging techniques measure various properties of the brain such as the blood flow, metabolic activity, or neural connectivity to infer brain function. These measurements are typically obtained using imaging devices such as MRI scanners or PET scanners. Neuroimaging techniques generally offer high spatial resolution, allowing researchers to localize brain activity to specific regions or anatomical structures. For example, common neuroimaging techniques include functional magnetic resonance imaging or fMRI, positron emission tomography or PET, structural MRI or SMRI, diffusion tensor imaging or DTI, and functional near infrared spectroscopy or FNIRS. Electrophysiology involves the recording and analysis of electrical activity generated by neurons in the brain or nervous system. Electrophysiological techniques measure the electrical potentials or currents produced by neurons during neural activity. These measurements are typically obtained using electrodes placed on the scalp or sensors placed outside the head. Electrophysiological techniques offer high temporal resolution, allowing researchers to measure brain activity with millisecond precision. They are well suited for studying the timing and dynamics of neural processes. For example, common electrophysiological techniques include electroencephalography, event-related potentials, and magnetoencephalography. They also use intracranial electroencephalography and single unit recording. Neuroimaging measures properties such as blood flow, metabolism, or tissue structure, while the electrophysiology measures electrical activity generated by neurons. Neuroimaging offers high spatial resolution, allowing for precise localization of brain activity, whereas electrophysiology offers high temporal resolution, allowing for precise measurement of the timing and dynamics of neural activity. In terms of invasiveness, neuroimaging techniques are typically non-invasive, meaning they do not require direct contact with the brain. In contrast, some of electrophysiological techniques such as intracranial EEG may involve invasive procedure to directly record neural activity from within the brain. In terms of scope of applications, neuroimaging techniques are well suited for studying brain structure, function, and connectivity across large brain regions, while electrophysiological techniques are particularly useful for studying the dynamics of neural activity and neural processing in real time. And lastly, the brain stimulation. Brain stimulation refers to the application of electrical or magnetic fields to modulate neural activity in specific regions of the brain. This technique allows researchers to investigate the causal relationship between the brain function and behavior, as well as its therapeutic potential in treating psychiatric disorders. Here are some of the common brain stimulation techniques. Number one is the transcranial magnetic stimulation or TMS, uses brief, high-intensity magnetic pulses to induce electrical currents in targeted areas of the brain. So these pulses can either stimulate or inhibit neural activity depending on the stimulation parameters. TMS has been used to study various cognitive functions, including motor control, perception, attention, memory, language, and emotion. So it is also used clinically to treat depression, chronic pain, and certain movement disorders. So there are several types of TMS techniques, including single pulse TMS, repetitive TMS, theta burst stimulation, and paired pulse TMS. So each type has different effects on neural excitability and can be used to investigate different aspects of the brain function. Next is the transcranial direct current stimulation. So this tool or technique delivers low intensity direct current to the scalp via electrodes placed over specific brain regions. So the current modulates the resting membrane potentials of neurons, leading to changes in neural excitability. So this technique has been investigated for its effect on various cognitive functions including learning, memory attention, motor performance, and decision making. It is also being explored as a potential treatment for depression, anxiety, and chronic pain. So there are two main types of this technique, the anodal stimulation, which increases the cortical excitability, and cathodal stimulation, which decreases cortical excitability. So these types of stimulation can be applied alone or in combination depending on the desired effect. Next is the transcranial alternating current stimulation. This delivers alternating current to the scalp at specific frequencies which entrains neural oscillations in the brain. So by synchronizing or desynchronizing neural activity, this technique can modulate cognitive processes and perceptual phenomena. And the last one, which is the deep brain stimulation, it involves implanting electrodes deep within the brain and deliver electrical pulses to modulate neural activity in targeted subcortical structures. So DBS is typically used to treat movement disorders such as Parkinson's disease, essential tremor, and dystonia. So these mentioned brain stimulation techniques offer valuable tools for studying brain function and behavior as well as the potential therapeutic interventions for neurological and psychiatric disorders. So they provide researchers and clinicians with non-invasive or minimally invasive methods to modulate neural activity and investigate the causal role of specific brain regions in the cognition and behavior.